Publishers of Prince Harry's book were left baffled by this particular action by the former actress, cable TV star Meghan Markle, wife, of course, of Prince Harry. But why? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. It's nice to know, isn't it, really, that you can have the support of those around you. As I've told you recently, Prince Harry's book has enjoyed phenomenal success. It's still remaining at #1, and last week it sold over 21,000 copies. I also pointed out that a lot of people think that this is at full price. It isn't, you know. You can now pick up the book for as little as £3.50, Great British pounds, in certain supermarkets. And they've decided also now not to make it such a prominent release. Obviously, 4 weeks in, you expect that. I'm not knocking it, but it's still a phenomenal feat to sell that amount of books in this climate. It's even baffled the publishers who's actually buying it. But of course, with publishing, particularly the current climate of publishing, where they're having to let people go many times because, of course, people aren't buying the books in the way that they used to, simply because now an average hardback over here is £25. Penguin Random House were rather hoping for something of a bit more of an endorsement, as one can imagine, from the sometime Duchess of Sussex. Now, as we know with Harry and Meghan, they've decided that, the social media world is simply toxic. In fact, Prince Harry's come out vocally and said that it's a toxic world and they don't want to engage in it. This, of course, has missed out on wonderful marketing opportunities for Harry, because although his interviews get picked up and put out on there, direct messaging via, say, the likes of, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Twitter, all of that sort of stuff, Instagram, could have sold thousands more books, particularly if he did shout outs and cameo appearances by people who've bought the book. But the biggest person that Penguin Random House were looking towards to publicly endorse the book was none other than the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. They were hoping, a little bit like the staff, if you recall, that were asked, did it of their own volition, to speak about how brave Prince Harry was to release such a personal and heartbreaking memoir. And then that was published on the Archwell Foundation site. Not really anything from Meghan Markle, though. Right. Now, according to a very good source within Penguin Random House, this was initially muted, and apparently this wouldn't have been a problem for Prince Harry to get Meghan Markle to say, yes, she loved the book, she was very proud of her husband, and she hoped that it would be a huge success and everybody would buy the book. Now, as we pointed out before here on the show, seemingly Meghan has other ideas, has literally disappeared off the face of the earth. But of course, not before not doing that particular statement. Now, as you know, when Meghan had her home book, she did something on YouTube, a bit of a read-in for the bench. Do you remember that? So they would have settled for something like that. And obviously, that would have made perfect sense when you think about it. Once again, another endorsement. Now, there are two sides to this. Apparently, because she's not being paid from the purse of Penguin Random House, it wouldn't necessarily be her remit to help promote someone else's book, allegedly. But it's not someone else's book, is it? It's your husband's, your definitive story, which you hope, of course, would have set the record straight about your background, your entree into the British monarchy, and, of course, the plights and difficulties that you've done. As one source pointed out to me within Penguin Random House, this says a lot about exactly why Meghan has remained reticent to get involved. Normally, she would have publicly, of course, said wonderful things, as did Prince Harry about her book. So what's gone wrong? One can only assume that perhaps Meghan isn't as thrilled or indeed happy with the contents as first thought, or indeed, as other people have pointed out, is she simply distancing herself for future, well, shall we say, movements. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.